getting right into it here because baseball has started already today, and the Cubs are breaking it open right now in the 7th inning. Well, they're trying to.
They're trying.
We'll see if they succeed, but they are winning against the Rockies at the moment in the 7th inning. So,
Nice.
little live update as we record here, but I want to take it all the way back to Friday night. This was my favorite moment of the baseball weekend. Pete Crow-Armstrong celebrating his grand slam home run in Cincinnati Friday night. This was part of a big comeback for the Cubs. They were down 3-0 after the first inning.
Wow, was this his first Grand Slam this season?
It's his first grand slam this season. It might have been the first of his career. I'm not sure, but
Well, congratulations.
Marquee Sports Network here with the tweet on X, Aura off the charts, and I agree. Nika, is there a more exciting player right now in baseball than Pete Crow-Armstrong?
I don't think so. I think he is on the top of the mountain.
He is like bigger than Ohtani.
Ohtani had his spotlight on. Now
He
it's time
does.
for PCA.
Ooh.
You got to sprinkle around the league.
Yeah, everybody gets a turn at the table, and right now it's Pete Crow's world, and everyone else is just kind of living in it. I feel like
I do too.
he is an RBI machine. Everybody, he now has 48 RBIs on the season.
Impressive. Is he a double maker? No. A double maker. I was trying to come up
A
with
doubles machine.
doubles machine. Thank you.
Well, I mean, he's an everything machine because with his speed, outs turn into singles, singles turn into doubles, doubles turn into triples. Even triples can become little league home runs, like the inside the park variety. But, he packs quite a powerful punch in that bat as well with the power. And he is doing he has kind of become the most, I think, talented athlete in Chicago right now.
Do you think he's going to be a MVP candidate?
I think he's going to get votes this year.
All right.
If he maintains this level of performance, throughout most of the season, I think he's definitely going to start the All-Star game in center field for the National League.
Oh,
and I think he has a chance to get some MVP votes as well.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing him as an All-Star.
Yeah, likewise. And I think that's nothing to take away from our guy, Jackson Merrill. I think he'll be in the All-Star game as well, representing if he logs enough time. He did miss a whole month, and that's I think one of the harder things to overcome when it comes to All-Star game and All-Star selection. So,
as long as he stays healthy, then.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. The Cubs, though, they go 2 out of 3 in Cincinnati over the weekend, and if you flip it to the next slide, we can see Reese McGuire made Cubs history. Yes, you heard that name correctly, Reese McGuire. And if you're wondering, who's that guy?
Yeah, who was that guy?
Well, after Miguel Amaya suffered an injury in Saturday's game, had to be removed, Carson Kelly, the Cubs backup catcher, who's been kind of just sharing the load because he's been hitting really well this year, he had the flu bug.
Ooh, ouch.
And so all of a sudden, the backup catcher who got called up from the minor leagues on Saturday found himself being the starting catcher for the Cubs, making his Cubs debut at the age of 30. Should point out Reese McGuire is kind of a journeyman catcher, backup guy with plenty of major league games under his belt. So these were not like his first 2 home runs or anything, but he did become the first player. I guess he tied a record for his Cubs debut. He hit 2 home runs, and only 2 other players have done that in their Cubs debut. Jim Marshall in August of 1958 and Earl Webb in April of 1927. So it's definitely something that comes around once in a blue moon here for the Cubs.
Wow. So has he been with the Cubs his whole career, or
No, he's a
okay.
journeyman. He's been a backup catcher for a bunch of other teams. This was just happened to be his first game as a Cub, and he was in the minor leagues as like the 3rd string catcher at this point. But yeah, the 30-year-old with a little bit of franchise history. Why not?
Cool.
Yeah. But this was huge because the Cubs needed it yesterday. They got down every game in this series to the Reds. And in 2 of the games, they managed a comeback. And in Saturday's game, they did not. So something to keep an eye on. You know, like with Shota Imanaga out and Justin Steele out, the Cubs starting rotation gets super thin. And we saw some of that this weekend. And, you know, they're able to outslug for now. And as you can see here in the next slide, we got the 4th straight series win for the Cubs, which is huge. And we'll talk more about their schedule in 1 second. But if you keep flipping it over to the next slide, Nika, I want to turn the attentions back to the runs because the Cubs can just score. They can just flat out score, and they've been able to, obviously, as we said, come back a couple times being down every game in this series and come from behind and win. And according to Bruce Levine, the Cubs beat reporter or MLB reporter, he follows, I think, the White Sox too, for Chicago, and we hear him on the radio every so often. He says the Cubs are on pace for 980 runs as a team, and the record is 998 set in 1931. So they're pretty close to that all-time franchise record, and the Cubs did play 156 games in 1931. It was not 162 yet. A modern all-time record is held by the Yankees, 1,067 in the same year as the Cubs did it. And a little bit of a history here from Bruce Levine. I don't know if he was still alive during the Great Depression, but he knows some facts because he says because of the Great Depression, the stock market crash, Major League Baseball juiced the ball in 1930 and 1931 to boost attendance. And
What's a juiced ball?
I think it means it was able to fly out of the stadium at a higher rate.
So it was lighter.
Harder, maybe? Like maybe it had more weight? Like,
Okay.
I don't know. I could see how like making it a slightly heavier could make it actually benefit because it's all about like weight and bat speed, you know, and how they hit.
Yeah,
so
I get
if
it.
you square up a little bit of a heavier, and we're talking like an ounce or two only, could
Make it fly
could help.
harder.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as I know, maybe it's wound a little tighter with the yarn inside.
No. I
Who knows?
I wish I have seen those balls.
Yeah.
I wish we had some samples from back in the day.
Oh, I
to
had
compare
them.
it. From 30s?
No,
From the
not from the
30s?
30s. I had balls that had the covers come off, if that's what you mean. So you
Oh.
could see the interior makings of it.
Okay. Well, I would like that too, but I'm talking more about seeing the juiced ball
Versus a
compared to
non-juiced
new-
ball.
right,
Okay. Yeah,
right.
I agree. Maybe we'll do some homework and some research on that
Yeah.
for the audience at a future date.
Sure.
But anyways, part of the reason why the Cubs are scoring all these runs is because of these two guys in their lineup. We can see the MLB RBI leaders heading into this Memorial Day are Seiya Suzuki, number 1 with 49, and Pete Crow-Armstrong, number 2 with 48. That is crazy, and that is the first time that two Cubs teammates have led the RBI charts 53 games plus into a season since Ron Santo and Ernie Banks did it in 1969. So a little bit of a shout out to my mom here on Memorial Day. That was her team, and they unfortunately broke her heart in September.
Aw.
But in May, they were giving her a lot to cheer about here, and it's easy to see why with these two. So, yeah, they haven't been scoring around Wrigley Field since 1969, Nika, like they are now.
That's crazy. I guess they have good wins nowadays.
So, yeah, the Cubs weathering their starting pitching dilemmas these days with a lot of offense and the bullpen a little bit better, at least over the last 9 games or so. But let's take a look now at the schedule ahead, because right now the Cubs are playing the Rockies at home to finish up the month of May along with the Reds. And as the calendar will turn to June on the 1st, things are going to get a little dicey for the Cubbies here. And let's just look at some of these matchups coming up. We got 9 straight on the road at Washington, at Detroit, and at Philadelphia, the Phillies. So we'll have the best of the American League and the best of the National League coming soon to an away field near
Mm-hmm.
you for the Cubs. No Wrigley Field love, but they do return to face the Pirates for 4 games, and there's a 4 out of 5 chance that one of those games will be Paul Skeens on the hill again. So just keep that in mind. He'll be making his Wrigley Field debut potentially.
Oh, wow.
And that'll be a big story
Mm-hmm.
for that particular moment. Not a big deal in the grand scheme of things,
No.
but and then we get the Brewers and the Mariners at home. So tough division foe, always the Brewers, and then the Mariners, who are not a slouch this year
Nope.
and a pretty good road team. Oh, by the way, then you got 4 at St. Louis. And
Wow.
that is going to be interesting to see how these two teams match up against each other as the weather starts to get hot. It's going to be June 21st.
Hot
It's going to
and
be
sticky.
summer in Chicago. Humidity is going to be there. It's going to be in St. Louis. We saw those
Ooh.
Padres jerseys last August in St. Louis. Oh,
Awful.
all right. And then they have to go and finish the month of June at Houston. So
Wow.
the Cubs have a
Impressive.
tough schedule here coming up.
Wait, remind me who said they have an easy schedule coming up?
Well, that was May. And I'm kind of just saying we got
Oh.
through the easy portion, so to speak.
There's no easy games.
I know these fallacies.
Yeah. Wishful thinking.
But I think the Cubs are doing their part. You know, they are winning the 4 straight series.
Mhm.
They were needing to do this. The series they lost before that, by the way, was against the Mets in New York. So perfectly forgivable. And they did win a game there. They didn't get swept. So holding their own through this supposedly easy part of the schedule. We've poked holes in that before, so
Yeah.
go back and check out some of our previous videos. But yeah, what do you think of the June schedule? Are we going to see the traditional Chicago Cubs June swoon? Are we going to see the Cardinals in that series at the end of June like overtake the Cubs in the standings and be talking about what happened? I hope not.
I hope not, but weird things do happen, and this could happen. It all depends
Mhm.
whether they are staying healthy.
Well, we do have a week before we get to this moment here that's on the screen because Sunday is the 1st and today is Monday. So we have a whole week to get through.
Okay.
But then it gets serious. Now, Shota Imanaga was playing catch on the field today. He's scheduled to have a bullpen on Wednesday. So if
That's
all
good.
goes according to plan, I mean, is he going to need to do a rehab start in the minors, or was this just a blip and he's good? I certainly think that it would benefit the Cubs to be a blip because they need him in Washington, Detroit, Philadelphia. They need him to start 2 of those games, hopefully, and not just start, but go 6 or 7. You know, save your bullpen. Those are going to be tough games, and then you have the Pirates, and
And don't forget the Phillies.
that's 13 days in a row with games, and then you have one.
Those are tough games, no matter how you slice it and dice it. Every single team is getting
You have
better.
26 games in 27 days against these teams. You know, like there's no
No,
off days to recover your bullpen. So you need Shota Imanaga, and you know, hopefully you might even need another starter from the minors to help you get through innings, or a bullpen game, or
oh, I hate those, but they might have to
I
call
hate them
up
too,
somebody.
but it just might happen. So,
Okay.
well, some food for thought on this Memorial Day as we look ahead to the Cubs' schedule. But you know, as they extend their lead, hope that it just shows you these games this week are important. You know, you got to beat the Rockies at home, and you got to beat the Reds this weekend at home. You just took 2 out of 3 at their place. You want to probably take, and you're going to have to face Hunter Green again, I think.
And the Reds are playing good. They are
They
well
show
managed.
up and hit.
They
And
hit.
they're going through change.
They are.
And it's not all going to happen overnight, but they will play you tougher than probably years prior.
Yeah. Okay.